In what may be one of the weirdest stories in the culture war, Florida gay pride parade canceled after anti-drag show law passes. I love how NBC News Channel on your side really falsely frames this one. Let me give you the real story. Florida has banned children attending sexualized adult performances. And for that reason, totally independently, Florida Gay Pride has said they're not going to have an event. What? Okay, what is that? What's the implication here? Florida Gay Pride is being canceled because they can't have lewd performances in front of children? Let me repeat that. The law that was passed, according to the Associated Press, is very simple. Children cannot attend adult live performances. Okay, they shouldn't. So they canceled Pride? Okay. For those that don't know, and please, tell your liberal friends, tell your leftist friends, tell your aunt, your uncle, whatever. Tell them that they have strongly been arguing for and advocating for sex and nudity at Pride events. Just Google it. Now, if your family members are in favor of children being around sex shows, then I don't know if there's anything you're going to be able to do to change their opinions and convince them of a moral future for this country, because that's just, I don't know what the word, like well beyond the line. Okay, let me read the news for you. WFLA says, officials in a southeast Florida city have canceled gay pride parade and restricted other pride events to people 21 years and older in anticipation of Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signing a bill meant to keep children out of drag shows. You see, yes, technically, but you could just say the law bans children from attending adult performances. That's it. You can have your art shows and you can do drag, just don't put kids in front of sex shows. Man, these people are creepy. The Pride Alliance of the Treasure Coast posted Wednesday on Facebook that the decision to change this Saturday's Pride Fest events was made after multiple conversations with Port St. Lucie officials. The city is located about 50 miles north of West Palm Beach. Quote, we hope that everyone understands that this is definitely not what we wanted at all and are working with the city to assure our safety as well as produce a positive event. The Florida House sent DeSantis a bill Wednesday that bans children from adult performances, a proposal aimed at the governor's opposition to drag shows. The legislation, which awaits the governor's signature, would allow the state to revoke the food and beverage licenses of businesses that admit children to adult performances. What is wrong with what's going on? The DeSantis administration has moved to pull the liquor license of a Miami hotel that hosted a Christmas drag show, alleging children were present during lewd displays. These people are evil. Evil does not begin to describe the lies, the deception, the manipulation, and exploitation of your children. There's videos from the event showing lewd adult performances in front of children. And DeSantis is like, that's a bad thing. And Democrats are defending this. Man, I'm sorry. It's right here. The AP, the House sent DeSantis another bill that bans children from an adult live performance. These people want children in strip clubs? Yes, they do. For the longest time, we've seen videos of children, and they're disgusting, taking off their clothes for money at gay nightclubs. Google it. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely insane. And I blame people like Bill Maher. Look, I like Bill Maher. I think he's starting to wake up to what's going on. But he's recently on his show with Winsome Sears, Lieutenant Governor from Virginia. And she says, look, I just don't want my kid getting a lap dance from a drag queen. And he goes, okay, well, they're not doing that. It's like, how dare you, Bill Maher, not do a simple Google search on any of this? That's the most frustrating thing to me. The dude's like, I'm going to go do a political talk show. I've done zero research. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Granted, he's gotten better. And I can respect that. Respect Bill Maher. Because there was that time when you had Dennis Prager on and he said they're putting tampons in the men's room. And Bill Maher was like, that's just for their girlfriends. Wrong. And they all laughed. This time, When Winsome Sears says, I don't want a drag queen giving my child a lap dance, which happened in North Carolina, he goes, I don't think that's happening. And she goes, Bill, you need to read more. Yes, Bill, you need to read more. And it's people like him and these well-to-do liberals who don't pay attention at all and are backing this stuff. So here's the funny thing, I guess. You will go to your liberal family member. You will tell them, look at this story. Look at this. And they're going to say, I don't care. MAGA is evil. You're in a cult, blah, 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 because they're in a cult. You see, the thing is, I just, I'm not a conservative, traditional liberal, probably 90s Democrat style or something like that. Maybe 2000s Democrat, except for the whole Obama blown up kids, And here I am sitting down at breaking bread with staunch Catholics, conservatives in disagreement. But we agree on a lot of the basic things that matter most. We decide that we will find that point where we can learn to live together. That's how it used to be. So when a conservative, Catholic, Christian, et cetera, or otherwise says, I do not think we can do X, I will not stand for that. I say, okay, well, I understand why you oppose this thing. I think we need certain compromise. So let's figure out where you and I would be the least unhappy and we can live together. And sure enough, I can host a show like Timcast IRL with Seamus Coughlin, who has returned. And he is a staunch Catholic. In fact, Michael Knowles called him a Shiite Wahhabi Catholic, which is hilarious. And he's one of our best friends. He's hilarious. He's fun. He's funny. He's a good guy. And we disagree on a lot of things. And he knows we do. And we get along with smiles on our faces, trying to do our best to lead good lives and help each other. It's crazy, isn't it? This idea. Here we are now. And I suppose it's as simple as this. I may not be a Christian. I do believe in God. And it's weird because people are like, Tim Pool's an atheist. I'm like, I don't know where that ever came from because I haven't been an atheist since I was like 18. But I believe in God. I believe in profound mysteries of the universe, and I wouldn't call it New Age or anything like that. It's probably I would say my belief structure probably has some similarities to Christianity, but I just don't believe in the religion itself, the Bible. It's just not me. And I think in that, we probably share some moral values, like don't bring kids to adult performances. Why? Children are trying to learn and understand, and we want them to be strong. We want them to be great. We want children to be better versions of ourselves, better than us. But what they're doing is they're corrupting children and making them worse versions of us and leading them down a path of corruption and unhappiness. I'm not here to advocate for some like moral, you must be married life. Seamus might be. There are a lot of conservatives who would argue that premarital sex is wrong and things like that. Nah, I'm fairly liberal. I think fairly liberal. However, just because I'm more progressive or liberal on some issues does not mean I completely agree with, or I agree in any way with the idea of cutting ourselves from our roots. I think there has to be liberty, classical liberalism, but still strong morality. And that's the line. The line for me is I may not agree with everything the traditionalists and the conservatives think, but I think there has to be some moral foundation. So I'll agree with them on that. To put it simply, we talked about it. I would rather see the 10 Commandments in public schools than critical race theory, critical gender theory, or Marxism. That is to say, I look at the 10 Commandments and I go like, you shall not have a God before me or whatever. And I'm like, if you believe in that God, if you believe in God or whatever, but not worshiping false idols, honoring your parents, I think these things are all generally good. And that's what I've talked about before with Bill Maher, because he's going to get roped into this. His morals are rooted in Christianity, whether he agrees with it or not. And the example I love to use is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. If there's but one righteous person, won't destroy the city, and then they get the righteous people out, and then God blows it up. I'm paraphrasing, but the idea of this story was the basis for Blackstone's formulation, which is the basis for the right of the presumption of innocence in our current legal system. If you believe in free speech, free religion, presumption of innocence, and due process, that has its root in Judeo-Christian moral values. How about that? They don't have that in communist China. They don't have that in many countries. They have the presumption of guilt in many places. So I don't have all the answers, and I'm not telling you to go to church or anything like that. I'm just saying we need to recognize our shared moral foundations. And the issue now is if you are a agnostic, which I'm not, I actually believe in God. I don't know what the right word is for that, though. If you're an agnostic, an atheist, and you think it's wrong that kids are looking at, lewd performances, you are conservative, traditionalist, right wing now, according to the left. Let me take you, my friends, on a journey. Take a look at this guy, Maxwell Alejandro Frost. Maxwell Frost, who is this guy? He is a congressman representing Central Florida. And he said, this was always their goal, the erasure of the LGBTQ plus community in Florida, no justice, no peace. This man is evil. You may not believe that, you may think when I say evil, like he's a mustache twirling villain who's like, I'm going to take over the world. No, I'm referring to the banality of evil. Now, I think it's possible this guy is just like overtly maliciously evil, like he knows he's lying and manipulating people for power, which is possible. Or it's the banality of evil and that he is a dangerously ill-informed person and has no idea what's actually going on. First, they canceled their own event. The government did not ban the event. What they said was, you can't have sex performances in front of children. And then the Pride Parade went, oh no, now we have to cancel. That's creepy and weird. And then this guy was like, oh, this is an outrage. Ask yourself this. Why are Democrats so desperate to bring children to sex shows? Me, I'm a traditional liberal. I've never supported anything like that. And because I pay attention to the news, I'm like, I think these things are wrong. These people either don't pay attention at all or actively want it. Here you go. From Fox News. Transgender Minnesota lawmaker introduces bill removing anti-pedophile language from state's Human Rights Act. Minnesota State Rep Lee Fink told Fox News Digital that the language never should have been included in the statutory definition in the first place. Let me simplify this for you. In the human rights provision in Minnesota, it specifically says pedophilia is not a protected class. It's basically saying that if you're a guy who likes guys, if you're a woman who likes women, you cannot be discriminated against. However, if you're attracted to minors, you can be. And this person is seeking to eliminate that. This person seeks to make pedophiles a protected class. That's what Democrats be doing. Can I show you Google? Just Google search nudity at Pride events. Here's the first article from the Boston Review, Keep Pride Nude. Here's Queer Theology, Why Are So Many Naked People at Pride? In Magazine, The Right to Bear All, Should Nudity Be Allowed at Pride? Quora, Why is there so much routine nudity at gay pride parades? Why is nudity allowed? Are gay pride parades inappropriate for children? 2018. Is it appropriate for a person to be completely naked in gay pride events? Why is partial nudity present at pride parades? Over and over and over again. And then you have autostraddle. Nudity, kink, and safe spaces for kids can coexist. Are you kidding me? Kink? This is what they're doing. It's the creepiest thing. And they're actively pushing and pursuing it. Keep Pride Nude, writes the Boston Review, saying arguments that kink has no place in a post-Me Too Pride may appear reasonable, but celebrating public sexuality is an important step toward a future free of racism and homophobia. No. Nah, that's the line. How are they proposing kink for kids is the weirdest thing. But so long as Democrats blindly just support this no matter what, it will only get worse from here. But I think this may be a serious fault on their part, and it may lead to the right actually winning in many respects. Because I think regular parents don't want this for their children. It's the craziest thing to me that there are parents who bring their kids to pride events and don't care. I've told the story before. When I was younger, my family owned a coffee shop on North Halsted in Chicago. I think it's now called the Kit Kat Club. Let me Google search this because I haven't looked up. It's been decades. The Kit Kat Lounge. It's crazy to see. It used to be called Java Joe's. It was my mom's coffee shop. It is still there. Been in business for quite some time. Kind of amazing to see that it's been around for so long. I'm just jumping over to the old map there, and there it is. It's called the Kit Kat Lounge. How about that? And When I worked there when I was a kid, my mom didn't want me going outside during the Pride events. She said, no, you stay inside. Pride Parade was coming through and I was not allowed to go outside. Why? Because there were naked men and women. There were people doing overtly sexual things to each other, all throughout the streets, all in plain view of the public. There were people who were running around naked. When I was older and I was in LA at a Pride event, a bunch of people that I went to a Pride event and there were people running around naked. Yeah. Because it's not appropriate for kids and it is kink. That's what they're celebrating, sex. And I've said this before as well. Over in the neighborhood of it's Boys Town, it's North Halstead, there were stores where it would be a clothing store, and in the window are mannequins that are anatomically correct and performing acts on each other. That's what it was to be in these neighborhoods. It was not love. It was sex. And so you take a look at this sex ed stuff that Ron DeSantis is saying, like, hey, this goes too far. The left calls it sex ed. But it's actually, it was funny, Nikki Fried, who's trying to run against DeSantis, called it butt plug porn. That's right. That's what she wants in schools for kids. Admittedly, that's what they want. At what point are we allowed to say, if you want these things in schools and kids present, you are a pedophile? At what point? Because I think it's now. You know, if they're trying to make pedophiles a protected class in Minnesota, which they are, does that not imply that they're likely pedophiles? If they want children to be taught kink, which is what they're doing, does it not make them abusers? Is it not child exploitation? We got a morality crisis in this country. I got to tell you what. Too many people blindly marching in lockstep with whatever the machine says is popular. Which brings me to, my friends, ElsaGate, which you've heard me talk about before. But I can connect all the dots. ElsaGate was an algorithmic manipulation that led to videos for children where Elsa from Frozen was eating feces out of a toilet. Think I'm wrong? Look it up. I'm not going to show it on these videos because I try to have some standards here. But what happens is these people see those videos and think this is what popular is. So they're going to emulate, they're going to simulate, they're going to promote. Now, it may be that the average person can understand the absurdity of such a video of Elsa, but what happens when you start to just inundate the system with all this kinds of content to the point where these people grow up thinking it's normal? The babies that were shown videos of Elsa eating feces, it's in their brains now, forever. You know, there are a lot of things I remember from being a kid that I will never forget. Like the level select password for code for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 for the NES. It's BA, up, down, BA, left, right, BA, start. I would much prefer it if I memorized, I don't know, like calculus or something at that age. But for some reason, in that 1 week where I learned, in that one day when I learned that stupid code to level select that NES video game from like 1989, I have never forgotten it. And I'm sure there are many things you remember where you're like, oh yeah, I remember stuff like that too. Because when you're a kid, you absorb this and it locks itself into your mind. And those videos, the algorithmic corruption, will forever be locked into the brains of these children. When they grow up, it will get crazier. Keep your kids away from this stuff, which is the problem with influencers like Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney is the manifestation of ElsaGate. The algorithm created this persona for profit. And now it's being reinforced in a feedback loop to children. And now you have politicians who are angry that they can't have sex shows with children present. And it's absolutely insane to anybody who's actively paying attention. It makes me wonder about the NPC meme. What makes it so a person does not recognize these problems? What makes it so that there are people like you and I who may or may not be conservative or libertarian or disaffected liberals of all these different political backgrounds being like, yeah, we recognize that's a bad thing? Is it because we are conscious, sentient beings who are paying attention? And then many of these people are simply not. They're just saying or doing whatever they think they have to do to get by, to fit in. And that's scary. But maybe that's always been reality. And the issue now is the blind leading the blind. This politician Maxwell Frost, who is so angry that he can't bring children to a sex show. Maxwell Frost, they banned sex performances with children being present. Why are you so angry about that? Please explain to me. Because if I'm getting your view wrong on this one, you need to clarify so I can better understand. Because for the time being, it just seems like you're a pedophile. And I don't know that that's the case. I don't know you. But why are you defending these kinds of events? Could it be that he's just blindly ignorant and marching in lockstep with whatever the TV tells him? Yes. Yeah. Maybe. Or it could be that these people are deeply evil and this was always their intention and they're trying to force their way into this system. And they're being allowed to by default liberals who won't pay attention, don't pay attention, and only pretend to care. In the long run, though, I'm fairly optimistic. They sterilize their kids. They abort their kids. The future is going to be conservative. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.